Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for the week of December the 16th, all the way through Friday, December the 20th. So, Monday through Friday. Let's zip right on through it because not much happened. Okay. We have Kyle, it's Claire's first day working at Chancellor, and Kyle sends her a beautiful bouquet of flowers, blah, blah, blah. Then he peeks in midday. They share a kiss, and then they end up having dinner later. Oh, listen, oh, tells her how much he believes in her. Um, okay, you know, Billy goes by the Abbott house and tells Jack, "Oh, okay. I saw the announcement you made, Kyle, your CEO. Okay, is that the reason you wouldn't make me CEO? Why wouldn't you just tell me, Jack?" So what? You ousted Diane from the house, ousted her from Jabot, all to turn around and give it to your son. And Jack says, "Well, that's not exactly what happened, Billy. Diane is actually not ousted from the house." And he tells Billy everything that happens, why he and Diane did what they did to save their grown adult son from Victor's clutches, right? And then that just makes Billy madder. Oh, so you had to lie to the whole family, putting us through all of this. All of what, Billy? How much anguish and turmoil did you go through thinking Jack and Diane were broken up? None. The only thing you did, Billy, was stomp out of there because Jack wouldn't give you a job. So cut the crap, Billy. Mind you, when Billy walked in the house, the first thing he did was hit the minibar. And it's morning, early. See, when Billy is spiraling, he drinks a lot all day long. That's Billy, right? So Jack is telling him, no, Diane and I could not risk this getting out. We couldn't risk our plan, being exposed. And he told him how he was able to buy up all the divisions that Victor sold for cheap, pennies on the dollar. It was just a big deal in the works for him. And Billy said, "Uh-huh. So you can't trust me to keep my mouth shut." No, you can't. You can't trust Billy to keep his mouth shut about anything. As a matter of fact, he goes, "Okay. Well, you did your thing. You pulled your coup. Now I want you to know I'm pulling the coup on my own." This was a later visit. Billy calls Jack later in the week to meet him at Crimson to tell him about this. "I'm getting ready to beat Victor at his own game." And Jack says, "Wait, what?" "I'm getting ready to take back what's mine." And Jack said, "But Billy, Chancellor was never yours." And he goes, "Yeah, Abbott Chancellor's was mine. My mother, I was running it for my mother." He says, "And Jill sold it." "Nope, I'm taking it. Oh, and I want your help." And Jack said, "Billy, you're going down a dangerous path." And he goes, but it's okay for you to do it, Jack. It's okay for you to go after Victor, but not okay for me." And Jack said, "You know what, Billy? I've been dealing with the mustache for decades. You haven't. Okay. And what you are fighting for was not yours, it was Jill's. And she sold it. There's a big difference, Billy. Look, I will find a position for you at Jabot. Oh, you want to give me some hand me down, some afterthought position? No, thank you, Jack. Oh my goodness. So needless to say, Jack is worried about, what Billy said about him. He's worried about Kyle and Diane because Kyle ended up going off on Diane 100 because she didn't move her stuff out of the C-suite office as fast as he wanted. And she told him, she says, "Kyle, My office is being painted right now as we speak. I'm not dragging my feet. Would you like to see the emails that I sent saying, wait a minute, when is this going to be finalized? And then I will be out of your office. He goes, no, this is just some underhanded dig. What have you changed your mind? And she goes, I thought we got through this. And he goes, yeah, well, I thought so too, but I guess not. See, it's, oh, you guys gave me what I wanted with my many temper tantrums, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop being a Jack. I'm talking about the animal, not his daddy. Jack, right? Still going to be that way. Because I don't know if I forget. I really don't know if I really truly forgive you. And Jack is just like, I mean, Diane is like, huh? Like she can't win for losing. And he goes, Dad and I, we were discussing if we could trust you. And she's thinking, oh my God, now Jack's still doubting me. So when she talks to Jack, Jack says, no. Yes, Kyle and I had that discussion, but it wasn't for can I trust you? He goes, Diane, I trust you 100%. He says, now this is news to me that Kyle is now doing a whole 180. She goes, and she told him, he said it's because I'm not out of my office. And I told him my new one is not ready. So Jack is just like, oh my God, he just doesn't know what to do. My thing is, when we're talking about moving out of a C-suite office, everybody, aren't we talking about packing up a desk? Taking your little personal crap off of the mantle you got behind your desk? Clearing out your drawers? Isn't that what's called packing up your office? It's not a big event. She's not moving the furniture. That furniture was there when she went in that office, right? Put your crap in a box, Diane, and put it in Jack's office until your glissade offices are done. So Kyle is right, but Kyle is wrong. He's right behind it don't take this long. He's wrong thinking this is some kind of subterfuge she's trying to do. That's just him being a jack hole to his mother. That's all that is. And feeling justified. So he talks to Claire about it. And Claire, this is after her day at work. They're having dinner, and Claire's saying, I just don't see that your mother is trying to double cross you. I don't see it, Kyle. I'm sorry. So he's like, well, maybe you're right. Maybe I am overreacting. Whatever. Those two bore me to tears. I fast forward whenever I see them. Now we have the whole rest of the week with Jordan flashing back to when Ian first came to prison. I was gonna say to town, to prison, and started talking to her. And he helps inmates at prisons. But the funny thing is, the first scene to where she came into the area and sat at the table, she wasn't even looking at him, and he was sitting there with his little Bible, pretending to talk to people. Yet the two inmates that were already there, they were nowhere around Ian. They were back like sitting up on one, not a wall, but sitting up on concrete higher up, but a few ways back. Oh, he wasn't enlightening them. He was waiting for Jordan. Okay. But she's thinking about all the different conversations they had, which was so boring. In my mind, I thought, okay, is she thinking about all of this to figure out his weakness, to figure out a way to get back at him? I couldn't get it. For some reason on Friday, she comes to the conclusion, or she decides this is a conclusion she wants him to think. She's infatuated with him now because he talked about embracing vengeance, embracing it, right? which is what she plans on doing, is embracing it. So they end up when he gets back and she's talking and oh next thing we telling him how much she admires him and he's taught her so much and they made such a good team. Oh next thing we know they lip locking. Now, as I thought about it, I said, wait a minute, this is Jordan here. For one, she's already got a plan, except when has there ever really been a man involved with Jordan? This is a woman who has spent her whole entire life and existence plotting vengeance. Claire has never mentioned, oh, Aunt Jordan's been involved with folks a couple. No, no. Mm-mm. Her main goal was poisoning and bending the mind of this child and not letting anybody near them. Like she said, Claire has friends she hasn't learned. I taught her there are no such thing as friends. Jordan never had a male friend. Now she in this hotel room with Ian. They're in such close proximity. Now we don't know. Are they sharing this room? I don't know. Right? So now that they're lip locking and he put his arm around her to pull him closer, we don't know. This might be Jordan's first piece in decades. And we all know if Ian could put it down, we all know that could turn that woman's head, right? Oh my goodness. She'll be mushing his hands. So needless to say, one of the things she remembered was when Ian said the woman that switched places with her, which still don't make sense to everybody. She has a terminal illness. Her and her family were pretty much poor, right? And she wasn't going to be able to leave them nothing, and they were going to be, destitute as they are. But with the money he offered her, now her family could live comfortably, which lets you think, how much money does Ian have? How can he get his hands on money? That kind of money. But once a con artist, always a con artist. So whatever. So now we know, okay, this was her incentive for switching places. It still doesn't ring true as to how could she be a doppelganger of Jordan? How could they how did he waltz into the prison? Was it with another Bible thumper with him? Right? And she had on some kind of wig. And when he's in the yard counseling, somehow the chick and Jordan switch wigs and switch sweaters. And this chick now miraculously looks like Jordan. One thing I do know for sure, when they show Jordan walking in that yard to sit down at the table to talk to Ian, the other women prisoners kind of shunned away from her. They got up and walked away because look, everybody knows. Last prison she broke out of, folks died in the fire. Which to me would mean we better kill her now. I mean, Jordan should be worried about being jumped and killed. But anyway, now she's feared, but whatever. So we have this terminally ill Jordan in prison. So they kind of tried to explain that away. Whatever, okay. I ain't buying it, but I'll pretend to buy it like all of us, right? So Sharon has been hypnotized. First hypnosis session, she remembered she did not run Phyllis off the road. She was, in fact, not run off the road, but the truck, it was a truck, was coming up so fast behind her, she drove off the road to let it pass her. She was feeling faint and she must have blacked out for a few minutes. When she woke up, she said, I got out the car, but I could hear the crash. She could hear Phyllis's crash from a distance, which is when she got out and tried to walk towards it, which let her know I didn't run her off the road. And Nick is just being an idiot. See, Sharon didn't run him off the road. Okay. And Michael says, this is great news. This is progress. And Alan stopped the session right there and said, it's taking a lot out of you. You can't overdo it with hypnosis. Well, the next day, Sharon decides, nope, she's got to go deeper. She needs to remember more. So Michael and Nick and Alan come back to Nick's protest saying it's too soon, but she wants to get to it. She's hypnotized again, and then she remembers that Heather woke up. Heather told her she was psychotic, crazy, and she says Heather got up and ran from her or to the other side of the room. And Sharon said, I was feeling dizzy, disoriented, and Heather was saying, you're crazy, you're crazy. And so Sharon said, I felt, and it showed in the scene, somebody with a black glove, Jordan's hand, touched her shoulder and kind of pushed her down. Not pushed her, but she was already woozy, lightheaded. Jordan pushed her down on the couch, pretty much, eased her down, glided her down to the couch because she was fainting anyway, passing out anyway. And as she's laying there, getting out of it, she could hear Heather saying, no, no, don't. She could hear. And so when they brought her out, she said, someone else was there. Someone was there. I did not kill Heather. She goes, I was passing out again on the couch and I could hear Heather say, actually, she didn't say I could hear Heather saying no. She's like, I could hear Heather was scared or something like that, right? So now they're on a mission to find who could have been in that house, apartment. Yeah, right, as if they could find that out. So Nick says, this proves Sharon didn't kill Jordan because Sharon said, I didn't do it. I mean, Jordan, Heather, I didn't do it. Oh my God, I didn't kill Heather. She wasn't. I just pushed her down. She got back up and she, ran to the other side of the room. It wasn't me. Oh my God. Nick says, all right, these charges should be dropped now. And Michael says, no, we've made progress, but this doesn't drop the charges. This allows me to build a case, a better case for Sharon's defense. But the hypnosis is not a case changer. It helps, things that come out in hypnotherapy. So Nick says, okay, okay. So then he goes, but you talk to Chance. He goes, no, I'm gonna let Chance know the findings we have, and Chance better be all over it. The GCPD better find who was in Heather's apartment. GCPD? The GCPD is just like the PCPD. It's just like any soap opera PD. They don't ever find nothing. Ever. Cases are always solved outside of the police force. So anyway, Michael says, you know what, I'm gonna go to Chance and talk to Chance. Um, let me see, what else do we have? We're coming on Wednesday. Victoria was worried about, Claire's first day of work, if things are moving too fast for her. She doesn't want her to have any regressions. And Nikki's reassured her, no, it was a great first day. Claire did very well. Claire came in after her day with Kyle and she told her mother, Victoria, no, that she had a really, really good first day. So that made Victoria happy. Diane is soaking and self doubting herself at Crimson, and she talks to Esther, of all people. And Esther gives her some good advice. And Esther tells her, listen, Diane, you want, you know, people forgiveness from your son. You want people to know you've changed. Don't just keep saying you changed. It has to be like some true acts of goodness for people to feel that you have changed. something with no strings attached and blah, blah, blah. So now Diane is thinking, you know what, Esther, you're right. We'll see what Diane comes up with. Definitely. Devon gave, the PI woman that helped Devon with whatever. I forget. Um, she came out of retirement again and she told Nate, your cousin seems to bring me out of retirement more than anybody I know. And she says, yes, she found Damien. He is living in this place she found him, and he is currently working at this last job, but he changes jobs all the time. So there's a very short window. He's in LA. She says, I'm going to be staying at the GCAC. Get in touch with me, for the next steps. So Nate is going to LA, him and Amy. Well, him and Amy. And Amy says, you know what, Nate? And the PI leaves, goes back to the hotel. Why don't you go alone? You talk to Damien. And then if he wants to see me, you bring him back here. And Nate is looking at her. He said, Amy, how's that supposed to work? Your son doesn't know me from Adam. I'm a complete stranger. And I'm supposed to come to him to tell him I'm his long lost brother because his father that he knew is not his father? Amy, he's not going to believe that. And why should he? No, you are his mother. And I don't understand why you're so hesitant. You know you don't have a lot of time. You need to establish the validity of the claim, Amy. And so she's like, but how do I tell him that I've lied to him his whole life? And Nate was like, he will accept that better from you, his mother, than me, a stranger. No, this will not work unless you are there. So she agrees. She goes, okay, you're right, you're right. I'm going to go to LA, but you have to make contact with Damien. And then if he wants to see me, bring him back to the hotel. See, Amy is not telling something with this story. I don't care how upset any of our kids are because their daddy died, because the man that they looked up to died. Does this mean he's now going to disown me, his mama? He's now going to cut me out of his life to where I don't know if he's dead or alive? No, there's something more to the story. And how cowardice of this woman to put this on a complete stranger, Nate, to deal with. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, Nate, you need to run and don't look back behind this crap. So she agrees to go, and he agrees to bring him back. But I'm thinking, no, you bring him back saying, hey, guess what? I know you don't know me. I'm a friend of your mother's. Your mother is in town. She's staying right here. She has some news for you. Can you please give her an hour of your time? She's your mama. It's Christmas. That's all I would say. I wouldn't be breaking no news of jack nothing to this grown man who's older than me. And I don't know, could beat the crap out of me. I don't know. So anyway, they're gone on that rabbit hole. Um, and then Friday we get up to Daniel buys a tree and he wants to decorate it in memory of Heather. Not Faith. Lucy didn't want to have nothing to do with it, but then Daniel says, "Look, then let me decorate it. You kind of guide me, and once it's done, if you don't like it and you want to throw the whole thing away, we'll throw the whole thing away." And Lucy says, "And you won't be mad?" He said, "Nope, I won't be mad." So he had Phyllis and Summer come over, and Daniel's doing an intentional haphazard job with it. Not good. And they're like, you don't put two ornaments of the same kind right next to each other. Even though when you look at all the different ornaments of that tree, yeah, they do because there weren't a lot of different ornaments, right? So Lucy says, no, Dad, no, look, this should go over here and blah, blah, blah. So Lucy kind of gets up and she gets involved. And Phyllis and Summer, Phyllis kind of thumbs up Daniel, like, good, you got her involved. So when it was over, Phyllis and Summer were getting ready to leave. And Lucy says, you know what, can we start a family tradition? Can we all put an ornament on a tree and say what we wish for? And so they did. That was a real cute family moment. But earlier in the week, Phyllis met with Daniel. She took him to lunch at Society, and she was telling him what Billy wanted her to do, work with him to take Victor down. And she says, I told him no, that I didn't want to be involved with it. She says, but I woke up this morning thinking, should I have told him no? And Daniel said, yeah, you should have told him no like you did, Mom. For one thing, this has nothing to do with you. And so Phyllis says, well, yeah, it kind of does. Because see, I was working with Billy and Jill made Billy fire me for no good reason. This was something I really needed. And then the company Jill sold, sold it to Victor, snatching it from under Billy. And Billy wants revenge on Victor. And so Daniel said, still, Mom, you going into a plan with Billy who's known for half-baked plans. Half. It seems to me that Jill, his own mother, is the one that really pulled the plug ultimately. So why would you go in league with Billy to take down Victor? And Phyllis just looks at him. Well, I mean, because ultimately, you know how Victor is. He goes, no, Mom, I just need you to think about this. This is not your fight. It really is not your fight. Billy wants to just take you down this rabbit hole with him. Don't go. Your instincts were right with saying no to Billy. I'm proud of you. And she looked at him like, okay, it's not really what I wanted to hear, but okay. If you say you're proud of me, okay. Right? Okay. Phyllis, I don't know what she's going to do because really that is not her fight. That's not even a fight for her. But she's like, I need something. I need something for myself. I need something to keep me. It's like the Grand Phoenix. The Grand Phoenix was mine. It was my project. And it was for me. And I'm thinking, and yet you sold it, chick. So you could go after Diane at Marquetti. So you could do that. There was no reason Phyllis sold that hotel. None whatsoever. She could have went and worked for her daughter and hired a manager for that hotel and still gone and checked in on everything. And I see there was just no reason that they sold it. They just wanted to get that whole prop off the show, which I hate because I liked the Grand Phoenix. I liked it when people went there. So anyway, Phyllis is looking for something. Um, and that's it. Um, Lucy was happy about the tree, the family, everybody's family. Um, well, not everybody's family. They didn't show everybody's family, but their family was happy with comforted with the tree that they made because Heather loved trees. That was Heather's, big deal was Christmas and Christmas trees. So that's it, everybody. That's it for The Young and the Restless. Not too much happened this week whatsoever. Let's go to Comic Corner. Comic Corner. Liz says, hi. Hi, Lynn. Bowberry Sherry says Mariah was his adopted daughter. Oh, I didn't know that. Later, he kidnapped her to marry her. I kind of remember that. He had her held in some almost like warehouse-ish kind of locked room, which was crazy, right? And then Denzel says, at this point, this whole Young and the Restless needs to be canceled. I just don't care anymore at all. I don't like Billy and Sally. I do like Kyle and Claire together because they make a cute couple. Wait, they make a cute couple together, but I got a feeling they're gonna break up Kyle and Claire by Victor, or no, I think it's gonna be Summer, Denzel. Summer is going to weasel her way back more into the Abbott house to be close to her son. Remember, they have that house, that little pool house that attached to the Abbott house. Watch Summer want to be closer to her son and want to move in there so she could be in and out the house. Summer ain't done. She got some stuff. She got some stuff up her sleeve now that she and Chance are no longer together. So that's it. I will be back next weekend, which will be the last weekend of 2025 for a Young and the Restless weekly review. Everybody have a safe and happy holiday.